In the beginning, there was darkness, and then, bang, giving birth to an endless expanding existence of time, space, and matter. Now see further than we've ever imagined, beyond the limits of our existence, in a place we call the universe. Does our sun have a deadly nemesis that dooms life on our planet? Is it possible to travel through time?
It is one of the greatest questions.
What happened to matter's evil twin?
The mind hunts for an explanation.
How did the water on Mars disappear? And what came before the Big Bang?
This is the greatest mystery in all of science.
Big questions and cutting-edge science. The universe, unexplained mysteries. Among the unexplained mysteries in the universe, one has a particular urgency for those of us who enjoy living on planet Earth. Do Earthlings have a regularly scheduled date with extinction once every 26 million years? And if so, what causes this periodic hard rain of destruction?
You have this enormous explosion. Anything within thousands of miles will be killed. You're talking here first of the blast wave, of the tsunami. You're talking about the enormous heat. Fires all around the globe. And then darkness.
For millions of years, enormous objects from space have slammed into Earth with disastrous results. One impact in the waters of the Yucatan Peninsula is blamed for the extinction of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. But this wasn't the first mass extinction on Earth, and it probably won't be the last.
And it wasn't the biggest mass extinction event of all time, because that one was the Permian extinction, in which 95% of the species in the oceans died and about 80% of those on land. So radical extinction events have happened.
Some scientists believe these periods of death and destruction happen like clockwork.
Some paleontologists found a very strange pattern. What they found were the great extinctions, such as the ones that killed the dinosaurs, but others too, didn't happen at random times, but seemed to occur on a regular time schedule. That was very strange. They were disappearing every 26 million years, was begging for an explanation.
Astrophysicist Richard Muller believes the explanation for this periodic destruction is a dim red dwarf star lurking on the edge of the solar system. A star that he fittingly calls Nemesis. According to his theory, Nemesis is an undiscovered companion star to our own sun. It travels between 1 and 3 light years from the center of the solar system on an elongated elliptical orbit. As Nemesis makes its closest approach to the sun every 26 million years, its orbit takes it right through the Oort cloud, a collection of an estimated trillion comets surrounding our solar system. That's when the order of the solar system turns especially chaotic.
When that happens, Nemesis gets close to the comets and perturbs their orbit.
According to Muller's theory, the gravitational disruption caused by this small innocuous star causes long, undisturbed comets to break away from their orbits in the Oort cloud. Pulled towards the sun by its gravity, 1 billion comets are sent careening toward the inner solar system. A handful inevitably cross paths with the Earth, resulting in massive impacts and mass extinctions. The claim that our sun has an undiscovered companion Death Star is controversial. Most scientists believe that the sun is a solitary star with no companions. But in the universe, binary or even triplet stars grouped together by gravity are the norm.
The majority of stars in our galaxy are parts of either binary or triple stars. And so the idea that the sun conceivably could be part of a binary isn't crazy from that point of view at all. It's an interesting question.
Even if the sun could conceivably have a binary companion, astronomers have never observed a binary system in which the pair of stars are as far apart as Muller claims our sun and Nemesis would be. Muller needed proof that Nemesis was real. In 1997, a NASA mission began that had the potential to shed light on the mystery. The 2-micron all-sky survey, or 2MASS, used twin infrared telescopes to scour the universe for previously unknown stars. 2MASS specialized in hard-to-find bodies in and near our galaxy, and to date has produced over 2 million images. If Nemesis was out there, 2MASS should have spotted it. But the survey never detected anything fitting the description of Muller's Death Star.
We've looked real hard for Death Star, for Nemesis, and we can't find it anywhere.
But Muller isn't surprised 2MASS didn't find his Nemesis.
The reason is, at a distance of about 1 light year, which is the distance it would have in order to have a 26 million year orbit, its motion is very little. And so it would have been missed by the standard surveys that look for nearby stars.
Another possibility is that Nemesis may actually be a brown dwarf. These failed stars are much smaller than red dwarfs. And with a highly elliptical orbit, a brown dwarf would remain far from Earth most of the time and out of the watchful eye of astronomers. If that's the case, Nemesis could have easily slipped under the 2MASS radar. Richard Muller vows to continue looking and plans yet another, more detailed study. He believes it's only a matter of time before Nemesis is found.
There are lots of stars out there. There are millions of them. But when you find a needle in a haystack, you can look at it and say, well, that's not hay. Similarly with this, when we find Nemesis, we'll measure the orbit and we'll prove that it's Nemesis.
Of all the unexplained mysteries in our universe, perhaps the most tantalizing and controversial is whether it's possible to travel through time.
Can we really travel back into the past? Can we really alter our destiny? It is one of the greatest questions.
In 1955, Ron Mallett was only 10 years old when his father died of a heart attack. Grief-stricken, young Mallett yearned for a way he could see his father again and perhaps save his life.
About a year after he died, I came across H.G. Wells's book, The Time Machine, and that is what saved me, because I thought if I could build a time machine, as H.G. Wells talked about, then I could go back into the past and try to save his life and see him again. And so I became obsessed with the notion of trying to build a time machine.
Gentlemen, I am talking about traveling through time.
The Time Machine was a work of fiction, but Mallett soon discovered there was science to support the mysterious notion of time travel. And the source was none other than Albert Einstein. Einstein theorized that space and time were linked, so that one could imagine space-time as a sort of fabric or sheet. With his general theory of relativity, Einstein showed that a massive object, like a planet, a star, or black hole, actually warps the fabric of space and time. In fact, Einstein believed that gravity, the force that binds us to the Earth and keeps the Earth in orbit around the Sun, is really just an effect of this warping. For Mallett, this mind and universe-bending idea has far-reaching implications. Because if you could generate enough gravity to twist time into a loop, perhaps you could create a pathway for moving backwards and forwards through time. Einstein's theories fueled Ron Mallett's quest to learn how to build his own time machine. But time travel wasn't a subject that could be studied by serious scientists out in the open.
As a matter of fact, I used a cover story that worked for me. I studied black holes because black holes allowed me to understand how Einstein's theory affected time, and it was a crazy idea, but it was considered legitimate crazy. So I built my career on studying that and being able to use Einstein's general theory of relativity.
Black holes, the massive remnants of collapsed stars, have an almost unmatched gravitational power to distort space and time, which is exactly what Mallett wanted to do. But how could he create in the laboratory something jam-packed with enough matter to actually warp space-time? For inspiration, Mallett turned again to Einstein and his most famous equation, E equals mc squared, which showed that matter and energy are just different forms of the same thing. So following Einstein's theory, light, which is energy, should be able to warp space and time just like a massive object does.
We're used to the notion that gravity is created by matter. But it turns out that in Einstein's theory, light can create gravity. And that is what my work is based on. In other words, if gravity can affect time and light can create gravity, then light can affect time.
Mallett has built a model to demonstrate his concept, that a circulating laser beam can create a tunnel of light that twists space and time.
It has 4 intersecting laser beams. The region within that column of light would represent the region in which space is being twisted. And eventually, time would also get twisted by this column of light. And this would allow us to travel back into the past.
The first time traveler will have to be something much smaller than a human being, a subatomic particle like a neutron.
What we're trying to do is not human beings, but to try to send subatomic particles